Hi, this is John Hayden doing vlog chapter 8 conclusion of Smartphone Paradox by Alan Reed. And the summary that I got from this chapter is being mindful of our technological and smartphone usage because a smartphone is neither good or evil in today's world. And I believe that what I gathered from this chapter is that there is no right or wrong of technological advancements coming in the future. And I think that that is true. That we, as humans, we need to self-regulate ourselves on how we use this technology, when we use it, why we use it. And I feel like the control of the smartphone that has on us comes from the control that we have on smartphones. The thing that I gathered from this article is mindfulness and regulation with technology. Like I just said earlier, there's tons of ways that we could blame technology for having control over us. But if you think about the smartphone and you think about who created it, that's a dumb question. Of course, we created it. Humans created it. But since we get so addicted to it, we get so attached to it, just gives us an understanding of how much humans know ourselves and what we could get distracted to and what we get addicted to. And I believe that, yes, smartphones have a strong addiction or a strong habit from humans, or humans have a strong habit of using their smartphone, but humans themselves created the habit of us using the smartphone that much. And a quote that I gathered from this article from Alan Reed is, human condition is singular and that it transcends time and place. That just goes with what I just said, that we have the control of ourselves, of what we get attached to, what we get distracted to. Now, that obviously wasn't the main control of when the smartphone came out or when the iPhone came out. They obviously wanted us to get distracted to it so we could buy their product, but not just so we just get distracted to technology, obviously. But the other quote, or the other thing that stood out to me in this article, is that dependent as individuals, but even more, the system as a whole becomes dependent on it. And yes, we are dependent on smartphones, but smartphones are dependent on us. That goes with saying technology is dependent on us. For the future, there's tons of movies coming out about the future, and they're all, showing about what the future is going to look like, and it's very technological, and you got all these kind of different cars and all these kind of different jumbotrons and all that stuff that just stands out, and you're like, wow, that's a big technological advancement. But that doesn't happen without humans, without us depending on technology. And that goes with what Henry David Thoreau said, what Alan Reed quoted Henry David Thoreau, and he said that once technical innovation is introduced, people usually become dependent on it, so that they can never do without it unless it is replaced by some still more advanced innovation. And for, a philosopher that was born in the 1800s, mid-1800s, he had a great understanding of what technological advancements can have upon us. And like I said earlier, the future that we are creating is going to be more technological advancements, more improvements. And we're going to and that's going to happen because we are so dependent on technology itself. But if it doesn't happen, then we will not become dependent on technology itself, which is just something to think about. It's like, yes, you know that the future will be very technological, and there's nothing you really can do to stop it, because different businesses and companies are just trying to figure out ways of how to improve their last product. Just like Henry David said, to do without it unless it is replaced by some still more advanced innovation, until we figure out how to make it better, and then we proceed to do that. We just keep adding on to it. Another quote that stood out to me was, we might take a moment to look past the novelty of our technologies and consider whether they augment or replace our ability to think for ourselves. We use technology as basically a brain, basically that assists us in our thinking. If without technology, we would have to think on ourselves, by ourselves. And the fact that technology or like smartphones or similar stuff like that we have to depend on, it's kind of concerning because like, are we really using our brains or not? And is it helping us, or is it just helping us remember something for 5 seconds and then forget it for the rest until we think of it again? But another thing that stood out to me is that we still need our phones, even though they create habits, compulsions, and addictions. There are benefits to technology, like communicating to people across the world, which to me is crazy. You know, I want to be able to communicate to family members across the country if it wasn't for smartphones. So yes, there's a big concern of the disadvantages that the smartphone creates for us. But we are too concerned with them, and we are blinded by seeing the advantages that it does create for us, which is kind of a hard conversation of, yes, smartphones can make us seem like dumb people that are just following us or just staring at a screen the whole entire time. But I mean, is it really making us dumb, or is it actually helping us communicate and learn things and all that stuff? But this conclusion was a good conclusion to the whole book, or the whole article. It really opened up my mind to the smartphone and a lot of questions that I didn't ask myself before then. And I'm glad I read the Smartphone Paradox, and it made me open up my opinion to other things as well in technology, and had fun reading it.